I am Melchizedek, Supreme, Shabazz, the universal high priest of the nation of Islam on earth and in the universe. That's who I am.
So, Mr. Melchizedek, could you tell us a little about yourself and, what, a little bit about yourself and your status and who you are in the Nation of Islam and that kind of thing?
Well, I received the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the year of 1957. I've been in the Nation of Islam under his teachings for 47 years. I never strayed away, never backtracked, never detoured, straight for the 47 years under the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I am referred to within the Nation of Islam as the Universal High Priest. Universal High Priest is he that know, see, understand the reality of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and oppose his teachings and teach his teachings and distribute his teachings word for word, right and exact. Don't add to it and don't take away from it, just like he said it, right and exact. That's how I teach his teachings.
All right.
I came into the temple under Minister Malcolm X in the year of 1960. The year of 1960, I registered in the Nation of Islam officially under the ministry of Malcolm X at Temple Number 7 on 116th Street and Lenox Avenue. That's when I got my X. At that time, I was Ernest 5X. And after being there for 5 years, then I rose up to be the High Priest, Melchizedek Supreme, Shabazz. I established 2 Islamic jewelry store businesses. It wasn't just a jewelry store, it was also a distribution of all the publications of Elijah Muhammad, all Islamic jewelry, Masonic jewelry, liberation jewelry, all different types of jewelry of the Ansar under Dwight York, his nation. I did his emblems. And I did that for like 12 years. I had 2 locations. One was 417 Utica Avenue between Montgomery, Midwood and Empire Boulevard. Montgomery Street and Empire Boulevard between on Utica Avenue. And the other location was on 116th Street and 7th Avenue. Those 2 locations supplied the whole country with all the publications of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, all of the portraits of the different great ones like Master W. Farad Muhammad, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Clarence 13X, the 5% Nation known as the Father, Allah, Minister Farrakhan, Malcolm X, all the great leaders that came forth. I manufactured their portraits and put them all over the world, and presently they're all on the internet as I speak to you. In fact, they've been on the internet now for like 7 years. And the other location on 116th Street was the same distribution center of all the supreme lessons from the Nation of Islam. And now it's all on internet, it's all in book form, it's in audio form, it's in CD, and we're in the process now of putting it on video. Some people disapprove. We have some that we refer to as 10%ers who wants to hold back the knowledge. They use terminologies like it's not for everybody, it's only for the Muslims, or you can't give a baby meat, you must. I don't believe in that. I know that supreme universal knowledge is for everybody. And it's up to each and every individual to study it and seek understanding of it so they can take it and use it for themselves and not be controlled by other individuals who feel you're supposed to be under their leadership or direction or ministry.
So where did the 10%ers come from? Where did that?
10%, the word 10%, 10% bloodsuckers is referred to as mostly administration. Mostly administration, all these different organizations, churches, Masonic lodges, different locations are 10%. Because all they want is they rob you, they use the little knowledge that they have to overpower a believer who's seeking knowledge, to rob them of, under the heading of charity, donations, and contributions. As you know, the Word of God is free. You don't have to pay, you're not supposed to pay nobody to read a Quran. You're not supposed to pay nobody to read a Bible to you. The universal divine supreme knowledge of Almighty God Allah, who came in person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, is for the whole lost found nation in the wilderness of North America. Knowledge is free. 10% is bloodsuckers, always begging. These are the ones who are lazy and always sit around scheming, conniving, and planning how to get others to do the work, and they receive the money or the capital. Okay? Now, anytime you're in an organization or a church or a mosque or a temple, and you're contributing contributions, donations, or charity, and nothing is being done, is because the 10%ers, which is mostly the administrators, are using that money for their own personal gain. Big houses, big cars, the clothes and jewelry and travel and so forth, and the poor congregation is left out in the cold, naked, hungry, outdoors, don't have a pot to pass their water, a window to throw it out, and walking around ragged as a bowl of sauerkraut. Instead of having a nice automobile for themselves, they got a Metro card, riding the subways or the buses, while the 10% who's supposed to be leading them in the proper direction is taking advantage of their lesser knowledge and robbing them and keep them at a standstill, believing in a mystery God that does not exist, when they know that the true and living God is within yourself. And if you have the understanding of God, then the God within yourself comes to the surface, and you are able to do something constructive for yourself.
So then 10% is just like a
bloodsucker.
Is a term that sort of
describes
a
an individual that's robbing, taking advantage of poor people whose knowledge or intelligence is not on their level, so they use what they know to rob poor people under the heading of charity, contributions, and donations, so they can live good in luxury, okay, while the poor people still live in poverty.
So these, because I know when I was coming up, there was an organization that called themselves the 10%ers. They actually identify themselves as that. And what were they about? I mean,
well, there's only one 10%er.
It's just,
and that's bloodsuckers of poor people. And that's all in the lessons that you'll find on the internet. And the internet, the website is www.thenationofislam.org. Type it in with the small letters. The nationofislam.org. One word. You'll find all this information that I'm speaking about on the internet. And it's also in book form. It's also in audio cassette. It's in CD cassette. And we're in the process of putting it on video.
So could you you walked with a lot of major historic figures along with yourself. Could you name a few of those that we only read about these days?
Well, I walk with Mr. Malcolm. Mr. Malcolm X was the powerfulest, dynamic speaker that ever walked the streets of America. Mr. Malcolm X, with the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, took Islam and burnt down America. He went through all the colleges. Every college in America, Malcolm took the sword of Islam, which was the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He raised his teachings, raised all the Black Panther Party, Huey Newton, Bobby Seals, and Elvis Cleveland, the Sadat brothers, Angela Davis, Stokely Carmichael, Rap Brown. All these great ones came from under the teachings of Minister Malcolm X, which he received from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. There is no man on earth other than Almighty God Allah, who came in person, Master W.D. Farad Muhammad, or the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, has deep-rooted Islam, or supreme knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in the depths of the earth, also in the depths of the minds of the people. Everybody, all leaders out there today, every leader you got out there today, whatever program it is from the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm was the God of America. God of America. And no one can dispute that. Everybody else was like his sons. I mean, if you want to speak wisdom-wise, even at that time, I'm like a son of Malcolm. Minister Farrakhan, Carl Lidd, Clarence 13X. We all come out of the same school under the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Clarence 13X, Melchizedek, Shabazz, Allah, Minister Farrakhan, we all was under Malcolm X. Malcolm X was the God. He was the God. And through envy and jealousy, petty envy and jealousy of lies, because you always have envy and jealousy from weak-minded individuals who envy and jealousy of the strength of others, even though they know they're doing a good work that they can't do. So they'll go behind the door with the words of dissension, lying, and plotting and scheming to set up a division or to try to tarnish your reputation or your charisma or your personality out of envy and jealousy. Envy and jealousy is the powerful force next to righteousness. Every great man that ever came forth to the people was surrounded by envious and jealous individuals who are not able to do the job, not qualified, not don't have the ability, but they get envious and jealousy of the one that's doing it.
So then, what happened between Malcolm and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? I mean, what went wrong?
What went wrong was the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son, which was Warren D. Muhammad. Warren D. Muhammad always was against the teaching of his father, out of envy, jealousy, laziness, and unable to produce or establish any type of foundation in life for himself. The most Honorable Elijah Muhammad took care of him comfortably, him, his wife, and his children, because he never was the man to provide for himself or his family. He always was like a handicap on his father as far as support is concerned. Oh yeah. No, as far as Wallace D. Muhammad is concerned, he's not an imam. Perpetrating a fraud, lack understanding, plain ignorant, has no economical ability. He's actually confused. I mean, he should be pitied, really, because I feel from my observance over the years, and I've been knowing him for like 44 years, he has a mental problem. He has a serious mental problem. He always hated his father. He hated the good works of his father, even though that he knows his father did it. Nobody in America built a nation for the benefit of black people like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I mean, the world bear witness to this. But he, being envious and jealous, weak-minded, no capabilities of producing nothing. He was supposed to be what you call the imam for the last 29 years, and having produced a candy store, living down in the basement somewhere out in Chicago. I mean, looked like he was either an alcoholic or on crack or on drugs for the last 29 years. I mean, so actually he need to be pitied because a producer of nothing and a disgrace to the Nation of Islam for allowing him to even pretend that he was going to lead the nation. And the reason why that was, he got away with it because all of the weak-minded individuals that was around him and didn't have the strength or the mentality or the knowledge or the wisdom to challenge him, meaning that they never learned. You see, that's why they say flowers that's closer to the sprinkler, which means officials that was closer to the messenger, receive less water. The flowers away from the sprinkler receive more water than the flowers under the sprinkler. And so that's the way it was. And I'm not here to blaspheme or put him down. I'm just telling you the truth of that mentality. It's a sick, satanic, devilish, like in the lesson, in the wisdom, we call it Yakub mentality. That's the type of a person he is. A producer of nothing. And I'll make it plain, because I hear a lot of times that they say the nation was destroyed or fell down or whatever. The Nation of Islam never fell down. The Nation of Islam is older than the sun, moon, and star. And as long as you see that sun, moon, and star in that universe, the Nation of Islam will be here on earth. Okay? So it wasn't the Nation of Islam ever fell. The economical program of the Nation of Islam was torn down by Warren D. Muhammad, the hypocrites that fell victim and went with him, the Arabs of the East, and the federal government. They destroyed the economical program of the Nation of Islam. You understand? Because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad built up the nation We had our own newspaper plant with the best of steel that came out of Germany. Salon restaurant, your clothing store, your supermarket, farmlands over the country, summer resort, airplanes, importing fish from Peru, apartment buildings. I mean, temples all over the country, universities of Islam for the children all over the country with buses to pick them up from their homes and take them to the university. I mean, he built the powerful economical program for Black America. That's the only black man. That you had others that built up economical programs, but not on the level that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad did. You understand? And so for that to say it fell, it's supposed to fall. Don't tell me a man gonna spend 44 years building up the most powerful economical program for black people in America, knowing that it's gonna fall. No, it was torn down by Robert D. Muhammad, all the hypocrites that was around the messenger who went with him, also the federal government, and also the Arabs. Because Arabs always hated the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad rejected their teachings. What you call Sunni or Islam, Sunni or Orthodox Islam. Now really there's no such thing as Sunni or Orthodox Islam. It's Christianity. Because any religion that teach God is a mystery, or mystery God teaching, is Christianity, and it comes from Yakub's creation. Okay? Now, they want you to accept Sunni or Orthodox Islam. They've been pushing this on black America for years. Now, when you accept Orthodox Islam or Sunni Islam, now you got to worship a white desert bum called Muhammad. Muhammad produced nothing. He was a white man that taught Islam is true, but he was a producer of nothing because he couldn't read and he couldn't write, and he had no economical program at all. But he did teach Islam. He only had 33 degrees of Islam. But their book they called Quran, he never saw it and never wrote it because he couldn't read or write. And that book called Quran was not even on the scene when he was here. That book was put together by Arabs and the devils and the Satan or the Caucasian race. Now, they got together, put the book together. Now, anytime you want to trick people or mislead people, you put some truth in there, just enough to get them in there, and once they get in there, now they're caught up. Now they want to run around the street with nightgowns over pantyhose, army boots in July and August, riding a camel. Instead of going forward, they're going backwards. How are you going to take your mind back 1,400 years when you're in the year of 2004? You got to be a fool, misled, deaf, dumb, and blind, and you're not up to the modern day time as far as reality is concerned. And that teaching was not for black America. It was for the Arabs. That book was for Arabs. But you got a lot of lack of understanding black Americans that's walking around here praising the book because they're still blind, deaf, and dumb, and don't want to accept the reality that a 1,400-year-old philosophy cannot do nothing for you in the year of 2004.
So, was he instrumental, I mean, in terms of what went wrong with Malcolm X and Elijah Islam and the Nation of Islam?
Was he
Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Oh, Waradi?
Yeah.
He was the main instrument. He was the main instrument out of envy and jealousy because the most honorable Elijah Muhammad loved it, respected, and accepted Malcolm X more than he did his own sons. Because his own sons did not have the qualification nor the courage or the charisma, or that dynamic, or the belief like Malcolm. Because if they did, he would have never needed a Malcolm. He had 6 sons. Why wasn't his sons his representative? You understand? His sons never represented him. That's why he had to have a Malcolm. And then after Malcolm, he had to have a Farrakhan. Or he had to have James Shabazz, son of thunder. And let me make this plain, as far as the Nation of Islam is concerned. Because you have some people saying that Shabazz rebelled because he wanted everybody to speak the same language. No. 66 trillion years ago, when Shabazz brought about the separation of the moon from this planet was the complete planet was named Asia. Asia. That's the name of the planet. Now, when Shabazz brought about a separation on planet Asia, which separated what we call the moon and what we call Earth into two parts, okay? Shabazz set off a high explosion because he wanted everybody to speak the same language. God cannot rebel. God cannot rebel against himself. God is God. God can do what he chooses to do. So if we're God, if you're God and I'm God, and we have a disagreement, we may have a disagreement. My disagreement don't mean I rebel. I just have my understanding and you have your understanding. It's not that I'm God. So I have a right to utilize my knowledge and understanding in the direction that I see is best, just like you have the right to utilize your knowledge and understanding in the direction you think is best. So Shabazz wanted everybody to speak the same language. What was the name of the language that Shabazz wanted everybody to speak? The same language he wants everybody to speak today. The name of the language is freedom, justice, and equality for all. That's the name of the language. So being that the other gods didn't disagree and didn't want to didn't go along with that, Shabazz went into the center of the planet and planted high explosive and blew up the planet. And that explosion brought about the separation, what we call the moon and the earth. All the water from the moon came with this part of the planet that we call Earth. Now this part of the planet dropped it 36,000 miles in 11 seconds until it was caught up with the magnetic power of the sun. And then after the big shakeup and everything, we found that the best part of on this earth at the explosion was the area that we call the Holy City of Mecca. Holy City of Mecca means knowledge, wisdom, understanding first began after the explosion on this part of the planet which we call Earth. Now, then Shabazz, like 50,000 years ago, he wanted to make a stronger and a tougher people. So he put his people, took his family down into the jungle of East Asia to conquer the wild beasts. And he was successful. So the reason I'm going into Shabazz, I'm going to bring up the date. And he was successful. Then it was written 8,400 years ago that a man named Yakub would be born to bring about a new race of people, which we call Caucasian people, or like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, a race of devils. So by playing with two pieces of steel, he discovered that one attracted the other. It was an unlike a power there, which we call unlike attract and like repel. So his uncle asked, he looked up at his uncle. His uncle said to him, what is your idea? What do you plan to do? He said, well, I plan to bring about a new race of people. And his uncle said, well, you're only bringing about something that will be mischief, will create mischief in the land. He said, well, I know that what you do not know. Now, Shabazz blew up the planet. This is the time when Allah, God, was trying to destroy himself. See, everybody say God can do everything. No, God cannot do everything. And one thing God cannot do is destroy himself. He tried it with the explosion 66 trillion years ago. He tried it when he took his family down into the jungle. And he tried it with Yakub when Yakub made the devil. And Shabazz is still here. Now the Nation of Islam was established and built with the teachings. Keep in mind, these are the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. 4 Shabazzes took those teachings and established the Nation of Islam all over America, deep rooted in the minds of the people. James Shabazz was the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's assistant minister. Jeremiah Shabazz was the minister of Philadelphia. The other James Shabazz, known as Son of Thunder, James Shabazz had Newark, New Jersey. And Malcolm Shabazz had New York. Those 4 Shabazzes built the Nation of Islam, established the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad throughout America. Everybody else is walking on their foundation. Without those 4, it wouldn't have been deep-rooted where it can survive the rain, hail, snow, and earthquake that it has survived. The rise and the fall, the rise and the fall, the rise and the fall. And Shabazz is still out here today. You understand? And that's what's keeping this knowledge alive. Shabazz is keeping the knowledge alive to this day. Okay? Now, after the Malcolm's assassination, okay, everybody thought that the Nation of Islam wasn't going to be around no more. The Nation of Islam never fell. That's a lie. It never fell. Because after Malcolm, the supreme lessons, okay, which Brother Clarence 13X and brothers like myself and others that you call the 5%ers, we preserve the lessons. Those two stores I mentioned earlier, Islamic Jewelry Store on Montgomery, on Utica Avenue, between Montgomery and Empire Boulevard, and the other Islamic Jewelry Store on 116th Street in 7th Avenue. Those were the distribution centers for the supreme knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and lesson form. The 5%ers came from north, west, east, and south to those two stores and got those lessons. They call it the 120, but actually it's the supreme lessons from the temple of the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, called Actual Facts, Student Enrollment, Lost Style Muslim Lesson number 1, Lost Style Muslim Lesson number 2, English Lesson C1 in the problem book. Clarence 13X mimeographed those lessons by the thousands, and as he taught in Mount Morrison Park on the hill, he gave those lessons out. I reprint those lessons by the millions, I could say. All the brothers that was locked down in penal institutions used to contact me, and I would send them the lessons, and they would circulate through the penal institution. All the security guards who was 5%ers or Muslims who was about preserving the lessons, they would come to me. I would supply them with stacks of lessons, and they circulated all through Rikers Island and all through the penal institution. That's why I don't care what penal institution you go to today, those supreme lessons are there. Guards to this day contact me all over the country. And now that it's on the internet, I'm in touch with guards all over the country. Guards, Muslims, the black youth in general. They're all on the internet making print out copies of those lessons. And with those lessons, you become a living God, because when you have the knowledge, wisdom, understanding of God in your mind, in your heart, in the depths of your soul, then the God in you that was lying dormant in you comes to the surface. Now you see, you know, and you understand your true identity. Now your geniuses come to the surface, where you'll know what your genius quality is. It could be automobile mechanic, it could be electrician, it could be a photographer, it could be refrigeration and air conditioning, it could be computers. Whatever the genius that you are gifted with comes to the surface. Now you see, know, and understand your direction, your goal, or what you are about. You get a vision or a mental picture of just what you have to do, what you need, what you need to equip you to accomplish the goal that awaits you. That's the importance of this universal divine supreme knowledge, which is the lessons. The lessons goes into your mind, it goes into your heart, it goes into your soul. Then you become a living God of your own circumference, your expertise, your profession, your desires, your goals, whatever that you thought was so far away, now is so close that you can reach out and touch and be successful in all your undertakings.
All right. So, could you tell us, I guess we want to.
Speak up, brother. Don't be nervous. Speak. High priest is in the house. Speak.
Okay. When Malcolm was assassinated. Oh, he's outside. Sorry. Okay. When who really killed him? I mean, like, who is really behind his murder?
Malcolm was murdered by the federal government.
Yes.
You always have agents. Now I want you to understand, black people, you have black people, and you have original black people. Then you have black people with white minds. Mm-hmm. Because don't forget, Yakub grafted the graftation from the whites. He grafted the white from the black. So Yakub was the black man. So you have a lot of black people with Yakub's mentality, which is a white mentality. Now these brothers, individuals can say Assalamu alaikum, Allah is God, they can come, my brother man, they come into the ghetto. The white people or the Caucasian or the federal government does not know nothing unless he's given about black people, unless he's given that information from a black person who has a white mind. Now a black person with a white mind is white. But you going by pigmentation. You're not going by mentality. You understand? Anytime a white man can get a black man to turn on another black man, that's not a black man. That's a white man. But you get detoured, you misjudge. You don't get the picture because you're going by pigmentation. You don't go by pigmentation. You go by works, actions, and deeds. If a man's out there robbing banks, you don't call him John or Robert. You call him a bank robber. If a man's out there raping women, you don't call him Harry. You call him a rapist. See, your true identification comes from your works, actions, and deeds. Your works, actions, and deeds is your true identification. Mm-hmm. So those who assassinated Malcolm was Caucasians. But you said, but they were brothers. No, they wasn't. They were white men. Because they had a white mentality. Yeah. And they carried into practice devilishment against their own kind. A black man would never harm another black man. Because they have the same rapport. They recognize each other as a brother. But for a black man going to assassinate another man for just telling the truth, there's no way he can be a black man. He got to be a white man being directed, orchestrated, and paid by the devil or Satan, you understand, to carry out Satan's wishes and desires and will through an individual, look black, but is white. That's who assassinated Malcolm X.
So pretty much he was considered as being the truthful and telling the truth.
Malcolm spoke the truth. Mm-hmm. No one could. Malcolm right now is known all over the world. He's a legend. You can kill a man, but you can't kill his ideas, right. And you can't kill truth. Right. Your grandchildren will speak of Malcolm. Malcolm studies in all the colleges. Malcolm's videos, Malcolm audios and CDs, his teachings, his words, everything is on every college student lips. He's a legend. Now when I speak of Malcolm, I speak of Malcolm under the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm X, under the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, was a walking, talking, living God for black America. And nobody can dispute it. He produced the best minds out there. He produced the Stokely Carmichael. There was no Stokely Carmichael before Malcolm. He produced it of Elvis Cleaver, Rap Brown, Bobby Seals, the Solidarity Brothers, Angela Davis, you name it. They all come out. Minister Farrakhan. He produced the Minister Farrakhan. Mr. Farrakhan was like Malcolm's son, a little boy under Malcolm. I know this for a fact because I was there. See, I'm giving you what I was there, not what somebody told me. I was there from 1960. Okay, when I came into the temple, it was 1960. Okay, that we talking about now is 2004. So we talking about 44 years. And I had Islam 3 years before I even came into the temple by brother Walter 5X. Walter 5X at the time. He's Walter 5X. He's Bilal Shabazz Allah. He's Mahmoud Ramza, the master jeweler. Okay, he's the one that established the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in all the penal institutions. Okay, because he was in Greenhaven State Prison. The Greenhaven State Prison is his temple. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad named Greenhaven State Prison Temple Number 7 and appointed Walter 5X at the time as the minister. And he taught three quarters of Greenhaven State Prison. He converted. And mostly all those brothers that was in the Attica riot was Muslims taught by Mahmoud Ramza, who came out of Greenhaven State Prison. Now you got the teacher of the most Walter 5X, who is Bilal Shabazz Allah. He's also now Mahmoud Ramza. He is the founder of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, being circulated, deep-rooted and circulated in all of New York State penal institutions. And in 1958, he took out a writ. Him and all those brothers that was with him took out a writ against Paul D. McGinnis, was the correctional officer at the time. He made writs to have his religious rights, be able to practice his religious rights, which was teaching the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in penal institution, and won. That's why these here brothers today can go inside the prison and teach Islam. Warren D. Muhammad never established nothing, not even a candy store. Okay, even after the messenger left, he just walked in on the temple that was already built by his father. But he never built, to this day, he never built nothing for himself. This is why you go into the heading of bloodsucker. Wait for you to do something, then they're gonna come and downgrade what you do, but yet stand on your foundation. That's what you call a bloodsucker of poor people. So the one responsible for the teachers in all the penal institutions was Walter 5X, Bilal Shabazz Allah, Mahmoud Ramzi, the same person. He's the master of Islamic jewelry. He taught me Islamic jewelry. He had a store in Utica Avenue also. All the MGT bars, the lapel pins, Islamic jewelry, liberation jewelry. He's the master of the jewelry field. Okay? And he's still living to this day. But
when Malcolm was escorted out, JB mentioned that he was present when that happened at the mosque, when that happened.
When he was escorted out?
When he was escorted out?
Malcolm never was escorted out the mosque.
Okay.
The messenger sent word that he was suspended, and he left, but he was never escorted, and he was never given a fair trial.
Okay.
Never given a trial. And Malcolm was out for the messenger told him to be silent for 90 days for making a statement about chickens coming home to roost when President Kennedy was assassinated. Mm-hmm. Hey, the man was already dead. So what can you say about a dead man who's already dead? This is freedom of speech. If a man dies, you say, well, that's like chicken coming on the roof. What's the big deal? You're teaching the white man is the devil. When you saying the white man is the devil, what could you say other than that that's going to outshine that? You know what I'm saying? But the messenger did suspend him because he felt he didn't want no type of clashes between those who loved Kennedy and those who didn't love Kennedy, because black people loved Kennedy. Black people have a tendency of worshiping white people. They got that from slavery, and some of them still got it in them. Just like when Clinton came to Harlem, they was out there like he was Jesus coming from Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? So Malcolm decided that he would resign from the Nation of Islam and go do his own thing.
Can I ask a question, man?
And now, after he resigned from the Nation of Islam and realized his mistake, Malcolm did everything he can to get back to the messenger. He wrote numerous letters. Okay, in fact, Gil Noble had the letters, playing them on tapes. He got the tape of the letters. They recorded the letters that Malcolm wrote. He played it a couple of months ago on his program, like it is on a Sunday. Now, Malcolm wrote numerous letters, literally begging the messenger to come back into the nation. He made numerous phone calls, begging the messenger to come back in the nation. But those 10% bloodsuckers, the hypocrites that was around the messenger, you understand, blocked the letters and blocked the calls. That's why Malcolm was never able to reunite with the messenger. It was those same blood-sucking, jealous, lazy, unproductive hypocrites, you understand, that blocked the letters. And when Wallace came in, Wallace manifested all those hypocrites, because all those that was against Malcolm joined Wallace. Every one of them went with Wallace. Even Minister Farrakhan. And he admitted himself, so I'm not saying nothing against him. It's on video. You get the 1975 video of Savior's Day, and you'll see them lifting Wallace up like he was important. And they didn't even know that they were lifting up Satan.
So then is there really any validity to people saying that when that the reason why Malcolm was separated is because he revealed some issues about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad about babies and holy babies, and because it's sort of like an overtone that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying?
All that came from Wallace. Everybody knows that.
What?
Now, the messenger was the messenger of Almighty God Allah. Now, I can prove that no limit of time. The teachers of the most that's supreme wisdom. You can't get it from nobody but a God. The measurements of the earth, how much is the land, how much is the water, the heights of the mountains, the distance of each planet from to the sun, rain, the breakdown of how rain, hail, snow, and earthquake comes about. Study those lessons. You couldn't get, nobody could reveal that type of knowledge to you but God himself. The white man is the devil. Nobody knew who the devil was. The devil was covet. Everybody knew the white man was no good. He was a dog. He was this. He was that. But the devil in flesh, nobody knew that until Master Allah, in the person of Master W.D. Farah Muhammad, revealed that the white man was the devil. And the history of how, Yakub's history of how the white people was grafted and made and brought about, and he offered 10,000, he said not even 10,000, $1 million. I'll give anyone who can prove one word of what I say is not true. For 44 years, nobody came forth to dispute his teachings, to claim or collect $1 million with all these geniuses and all these brains out here. How come none of them came forth to challenge this man? This man never went to none of the schools of this system. This man had a third grade education from Sandersville, Georgia. Deaf, dumb, and blind. He know nothing. Where did he get this knowledge from? Even to this day, nobody can handle me. I say I'm on the end. I stand in front of the world. Melchizedek, supreme, Shabazz Allah, universal high priest on earth and the universe. Where's all these imams? Where's all these Mecca, these so-called scientists or whatever in Mecca? All these preachers and imams and ministers and so forth. How come they don't challenge me? Call me. I said, come on, let's sit down. Let's get down with the knowledge. What are you afraid of? I said the white man's the devil and can prove it. You can't prove that he's not. If I ask you, where did you come from? Where did you come from? He can't even explain it unless he goes into Yakub's history. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because he has no foundation or depths of his own, no establishment of his own. You was in the cave for 2,000 years on your hands and knees, eating raw meat, and your women was laying up with dogs. That's a fact. Challenge it. Because this knowledge comes from God and they know it, a supreme being. How did I become Melchizedek Shabazz Allah? The slave name was Ernest Bethel. Now it's Melchizedek Supreme Shabazz Allah. Who brought me into that awareness and consciousness to elevate my mind where I can stand in front of the world and say this? With the crown, Allah, the sun, moon, and star, Islam on my head. Challenge it. You can't challenge it because you have no actual fact. It's on my driver's license. It's on my security license. Passport, everything. You ain't going to find nobody on earth with it like that. You go in America, go throughout America and everybody show you their driver's license. They ain't got it like that. See, knowledge is respected when you know and execute it. When you know and execute. Say what you mean what you say, and stand on it and put it to the test and watch it work. I don't care where I go or whose company I'm in. I get top respect. I'm talking about Shriners, what they call Shriners and rabbis, the men of the wise, so-called wise men. They bow down with respect only because my knowledge surpasses theirs. The Quran is only 33 degrees. That's all the man had. The Bible, 33 degrees. That's all Jesus had. Every prophet, every book of learning in this civilization is only 33 degrees. But the universal divine supreme knowledge is 360 degrees. So that means they're 327 degrees short. So how can you compete with somebody who got the whole 360? You understand what I'm saying? And that can be proven. Because a circle is 360. Within the circle, you got the square. The square is 4 corners representing north, west, east, and south. Each corner is 90 degrees. 4 times 90 is 360. Inside the square, you got the 5-point star, which represents the original man. The original man got 2 arms, 2 legs, and the head. Each one is 72 degrees. 5 times 72 is 360. You got 5 fingers. You got 5 toes. You got 5 senses. Each one is 72 degrees. 5 times 72 is 360. You got the seeing, the hearing, the smelling, and the tasting. You got the 5 fingers. You got the 5 stages of your mind, which is conscious mind, subconscious mind, superconscious, magnetic, and infinity. Where do infinity start? It starts from at the edge of light. When you get to the edge of light, now you're going into total triple darkness. Why total triple darkness? Because total triple darkness is the source of all life creation. Total triple darkness consists of high voltage and electricity beyond this man's that can imagine in his mind. And that high voltage electronic power that total triple darkness produces is what keeps the whole universe alive. You go to the depths of total triple darkness, that's the source of all life creation, because all life creation from an ant to an elephant comes from the depths of total triple darkness. You got to come that way in order to get into the light. Okay? Just like the sun had to come out the mind of the original Asiatic black man before it can be where it is now. You understand what I'm trying to say? It was the God shape forming himself in total triple darkness. And he clothed himself with every produced himself or created himself. He clothed himself with the darkness. That's why he's called the original universal Asiatic black man, the universal most high God, Shabazz Allah. You want to ask the question? Go ahead, ask, brother.
There was I was watching the movie Malcolm X, which is one of my favorite movies, and there was a scene in it where a man was beaten to death. What Malcolm did was he rallied all the Muslims, and once he rallied all the Muslims, all the people, and they all marched to the police station.
Right.
Can you tell me if that's a valid story?
That's true. Yes. That was the brother who was beaten to the by the policeman, and oh shoot, I'm driving so fast I can't remember the brother's name. But anyway, and they took the brother to the police station. So at that time we was at the temple, and when the word came that the brother was in the police station, Malcolm marched on the police station and said we demand to see the brother and make sure the brother has proper medical attention and take him to the hospital. At first, the policeman didn't want to honor Malcolm's request. So Malcolm told the policeman, take a look out the window. So when the captain of the precinct looked out the window, he saw us lined up, shoulder to shoulder, black. I mean, brother, the followers of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is fearless. Those who follow the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, word for word, right and exact, don't add to it, don't take away from it, just like he said it, is God. They are fearless. When he saw us out there, he looked at Malcolm, and Malcolm looked, he said, release the brother. And they did. They took the brother and gave him, took him to the hospital to get his medical attention that he was in. Then when Malcolm came outside, all Malcolm said was, and we just and moved out. And that's when the statement was made, no black man should have that kind of power. Malcolm was so bold, so fearless. He used to teach on 7th Avenue in front of Miss Shaw's bookstore on Saturdays. You understand? And I mean, smoked white people. He said, you see these here policemen with these blue uniforms? He said, that's who brings drugs in your neighborhood. Alcohol is bought in your neighborhood by the white man. Drugs is bought in the neighborhood by the white man. Prostitution is controlled by the white man. He taught it raw. He wasn't a hide behind the door teacher. He came out amongst the people, which very few leaders do. Very few leaders do. Malcolm walked the streets of Harlem, okay, and taught and teach the people. He came out on front, direct. You got some of them that got this watered down teaching. I call them Christianity Negro preachers. You understand? They're watered down because they're scared. They're afraid. You understand what I'm saying? Or they're being paid. You follow me? You understand what I'm trying to say? But Malcolm, under the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the baddest thing that ever walked across America.
Can I ask one last question?
Yeah.
Like, how did you, JB the Puppet, how did you two meet?
JB the Puppet. JB the Puppet I knew since I was a baby. That's my nephew.
Oh, okay.
JB the Puppet is my sister's son. My biological sister. He's the son of my biological sister. His mother's name is Eloise Blight. She's still living today right here in the Bronx. Okay. I used to, when her and her husband, James Blyden, his father, and my sister married, I used to babysit for her. I was young. And they used to pay me to babysit when they want to go out for the weekend and so forth. And that's how JB and I got close. Okay. Then, I was baby, we always talk and everything. And then after JB, as he grew and so forth, all the big dads, because I was always out in the, out what we call the fast world. So all big social events, dinner dances, they call them at the time, at the Waldorf Astoria, the Hyde Hilton, Hemsley Park Palace, the Holiday Inn, the Corleone Blue, the Hillside House, all those big catering places that had these big functions, like the Hustlers Ball, the Bartenders Ball, the Barmaids Ball, I said Hustlers, the Players Ball. At that time, they used to always have these big events at these big hotels every year. So my sisters and all of us, we always was outgoing. I was in the fast lane, and we always would take the children. JB, his crew, he had a dancing crew. His crew, his fellas, and my children, and all, they was young, 15, 16, 17, we always take them. JB was a master dancer. Okay, when him and his boys, his circle, get on the floor, in the center of the ballroom, everybody would stop and form a circle, and brother, I mean, dance. The flipping, the dance, all the James Brown thing, I mean, he was bad. Okay, then later on, after I got into the knowledge, then I taught the knowledge to his mother, my oldest sister, and my queen at the time, Sister Willa Mae Muhammad. Sister Willa Mae Muhammad to this day is the Queen Willa Mae Muhammad of the original bean pie. When you see the bean pie, original bean pie by Queen Willa Mae Muhammad, I taught her. Yeah, her pie's all over New York. Everywhere you go, just ask for Willa Mae's bean pie. All over. That's the #1 selling pie in New York. Sister, and I gave her her first recipe. Okay, all right, okay. Now, so then I started teaching JB. I was teaching sister. I started teaching him. He catch on quick. He catch on always was a very quick catching on. And I supplied him with all the lessons. Now he's a Shriner now, but like he's the father of Shriners, because Shriners only got 33 degrees in a third. JB got 360 degrees. So he has 327 degrees more than a Shriner. But I told him, when you in the lodge, don't go in there downbeating nobody. Just deal with the plane they on. You understand what I'm trying to say? You know you God. You know you're above that. In other words, you're in the world, but you're not of it because your knowledge is above it. So you're not in there to beat up nobody. Just go in there and do what you got to do. And so, and that's what he does. See? And so then he got into martial arts. He's responsible for thousands of young brothers staying on the direction of education, no vices, no drinking, no smoking. All them brothers lives a clean life that came under him. They live a clean life, education, and professional. You understand? He's a motivator of men. He can take what you refer to a nobody and make them somebody. He can do that. He can take somebody who felt that they don't have no gift and bring out the gift in them. He's the master of physical fitness, of building the body and the mind. I'm a master of building the mind on a spiritual level as far as the wisdom is concerned. You understand? He looks at me as his father. He has a father, but he looks at me as his father. Okay? He just, hey, Whatever I do, whatever I can do, I do for him. Whatever he wants. I gave his gift, the shrine ring he wears. I took that off my finger. I took off my finger at one of his Masonic functions. And when he got there and spoke, and the way he performed, I was sitting with my queen. I said, he qualified. I took that ring off my finger at the affair. Called him over. You qualified. I'm proud of you. From now on, it's yours. And he wears it up until this day. All the lessons, the knowledge, the universal, divine, supreme knowledge, that high lessons he has. And he studies. And he's good. And he's responsible for a lot of young brothers having a good, successful life.
Hello.
Plain too while I'm here. I want to make this plain. Almighty God Allah, the universal, most high God, came in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest messenger, direct from face to face from Almighty God Allah. All the prophets on earth, yesterday and today, all the wise men on earth from yesterday and today, even include the Pope, that you can get them, bring them all together. They can get down on their hands and knees, and they still don't even qualify to shine the shoes of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Nobody can take his place. Nobody can wear his shoes. We are all representatives of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. All we can do is repeat what he said, because we don't have nothing of our own. And anyone who feels or thinks that they know so much, ask them, ask any man on earth, how come they're unable to answer the 34 problems of the problem book? Number one, and ask them if they know so much or feel they got so much knowledge or so much qualification. Ask them how come to this day they're not able to build a nation equivalent or above the nation that was built by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I say this, and anyone who disagree, challenge me. I'm just a representative. I'll sit you down and shut your mouth, because you know there is no teachings out here that can surpass the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you know you're not even qualified, you understand, to wear his shoes. You only can repeat or represent what he already said, because he made it plain, after me there will be no need for another teacher, because I'm teaching you everything now. And once I bring you face to face to God and the devil, there's nothing else to teach. There is no leader of the Nation of Islam. The leader of the Nation of Islam is the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, not no individual. No one individual can lead the Nation of Islam. The leader of the Nation of Islam is the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, carried into practice, word for word, right and exact. Don't add to it, don't take away from it, just like he said it. And when you represent those teachings like that, now you are able to build and bring back or produce the same thing that he's done with his teaching. So remember, no one you can compare with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Oh, and about the question you asked me about the messenger's personal life. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was taught by Almighty God Allah. His job was to deliver the message. His job was to teach what he was taught by God. When it comes to his personal life, it was then and now nobody's business. When it comes to a man's personal life, it's nobody's business but whatever takes place between him and whoever he's involved with. And before you get into another man's personal life, you should go home and clean up your own corrupted life, mind your business, keep your mouth shut, and don't be trying to get into another man's personal life. His job was not to, he don't have to explain his personal life to you. In fact, no man has to explain his personal life to you because you are nobody to explain it to. Mind your business and leave his personal life alone and focus on what he taught and appreciate what he taught you so you can get your corrupted low life in order. Melchizedek Supreme, Shabazz Allah, Universal High Priest, letting the world know when it comes to the personal life of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I say to you all, mind your business and clean up your own corrupted low life and low activities that you are involved in. Peace. Next.
Wow.